Today I'm bringing into the studio Miss Allison, our homeroom teacher for grade 1 and 2. Originally from Canada, you've been working for more than 10 years in international schools all across Indonesia, working with different curricula, not just teaching, but also designing curriculums, and really passionate about your job, passionate teacher, really thoughtful, full of energy, and you have 2 sons of your own, which makes you, of course, even more aware of what children need in these phases of life because you went through it as a mom too. So we're beyond excited to have you on board. And we cannot wait for you to meet the Grow families. What do you think a child needs to thrive at school?
I think all students really need to enjoy going to school. If I can make school fun for them, students will feel safe, included, and supported, and they'll have more growth and learning because of this.
Yeah, it's really about a sense of belonging, right? They want to feel heard, they want to feel seen, they want to be free to express themselves and to discover, right? So imagine your child coming home from school and asking to have their own vegetable garden, not because it's homework, but because they've learned in school how to grow vegetables. What is your perspective on combining the strong structure of Cambridge with the more inquiry-based, concept-based, holistic, or a more child-centered approach of PYP?
I think it's all about balance. So by taking the Cambridge framework and combining it with the PYP approach, students will be more engaged in their learning.
I imagine a child learning about multiplication, for example. So first they will learn in a very structured way, and we can follow up their progress step by step because it's all very organized. This would be like the Cambridge foundation, which is quite rigorous and quite high in standards, right? Then these same kids learning the same skills could organize, for example, a bake sale in school. And they would have to, of course, think about how many cookies to make, how to share their earnings, pricing, all of these things. This would be the PYP approach, right? So what we're aiming for is to combine these two. You want to also include the more real-life experience of the learning, which is also teamwork and working together.
Exactly. It's taking both of them, putting it together, taking the best from each curriculum. So you have the international standards, but you also have the student-centered learning, which is great for students and teachers.
How do you create a love for learning in your classroom?
I think for me, variety is how I create a love for learning. So as the saying goes, variety is the spice of life. So by teaching different styles, giving students different types of activities, they're able to find things that they enjoy, they love. So it brings meaning to their learning. And they're more involved in their activities at school, and they enjoy doing things that are centered around them.
Yes, you just pinpointed it what I was thinking. It's like you want them to be interested. So they need to do things that align with what they really want to do. Research proves this. When students are more engaged and more included in their learning, they have twice as much chance of developing a long-lasting love for learning. And that's really what we're aiming for at the end of the day. Why do you think offering a variety of lessons ranging from core subjects to STEAM, skills of the future, is important?
I think that by exposing students to a wide range of classes, not only core subjects, students are more likely to find topics that they're interested in. So core subjects are important, but I also think non-core subjects like well-being, library, arts, and my favorite, STEAM, are vital for building future-ready skills for our students.
Maybe you can explain a little bit more about STEAM. What is that exactly?
Yeah, STEAM, it's a combination. So we have science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics all put together. So during STEAM, students do hands-on activities where they collaborate, they work with partners, or they do independent work, and they combine all of the subjects together. And at the end, they create something magical.
That's great. Different kids shine in different areas. You don't want to expect them to excel in everything, and you don't want them to excel in the same things because they're all different. One child might light up during a science experience. Another one might feel super happy and engaged while performing on stage. So really, as a parent and as a teacher, as a school, you want to create this space for every child to really feel at some stage or the other, oh, I'm really really good at this. That's what you want them to be able to say to themselves, right? To being proud of themselves. Makes me think of a school in Singapore. What they do there is they write beautiful messages really to their parents before big tests or before exams, saying that, look, your child is probably putting a lot of effort in this, probably going to perform really great, but you have to remember that amongst all these students taking these tests, there might be an artist that is not really interested in math, or there might be an entrepreneur who doesn't really need to know everything about history. And that's okay. And as a parent and as a school, you have to really embrace that kind of mentality. Most of it, I suppose, is not let them, if they fail in something or if they perform less well in something, not let this take their confidence.
Exactly, I agree. They all shine in different ways, so we need to give them room to grow and find what makes them happy and where they can shine the most.
Why should schools also teach skills like sewing or eating mindfully?
Well, students spend most of their time at school, so as teachers, I think it's important that we prepare students for real life, not just for tests. So doing activities such as teaching them to tie their shoes, tidying up for themselves, even cooking. All of these life skills linked to core subjects, and I think it helps building their independence, their confidence, and helps them solve problems.
And creating healthy habits. Self-awareness. I think young kids from actually a very young age, they like creating things. They like fixing things. They like taking care of themselves. I will never forget a child running down the hallway to their mom saying, oh, I can make an omelette now. These are the kind of learnings that are meaningful and fun. And you're right, they do link beautifully into all the core subjects, really. So this is the kind of learning you want to create because this is the one that sticks. How do we prepare kids to work with AI and not against it?
AI, it's a big part of our everyday lives, so I think it's important to teach AI in primary school so that our students can be smart, safe, and responsible users. We need to make sure they know that it's not replacing thinking. So AI can be used to spark ideas, to support their learning, and it definitely saves time. So having our students know how to use it in real life is going to prepare them for the future.
It's a tool. It's not a shortcut. Just like calculators never replaced learning math, really. It's the same thing. We should teach them not to avoid it, but to work with it. My own daughter wanted to make a scrapbook, for example, and she used AI not to make the scrapbook, but as a source of inspiration. She still wrote her own stories and chose her own pictures, but it really boosted the whole experience. It makes it more fun, it makes it more engaging, and that's really the way you want everybody to use it, even ourselves. What do you think is the role of a teacher in today's world?
I consider myself more of a guide to learning. So I focus on creating a space where students feel safe, they feel curious and supported so that they want to learn. I make sure I give them tools, resources for them to take charge of their own learning. For example, if we have a project, design your dream playground. Students will first have to brainstorm, work in groups and collaborate. Then they'll have to make a layout of their playground, and they finish by making an actual model, a 3D model with resources that they found around the classroom. So it puts everything together.
You are really more a guide than anything else. You don't just deliver the content like it used to be. I guess sometimes your job is also to just stay out of it. Take a step back and just let the magic happen. Probably just have to make sure that nobody puts a trampoline on the roof.